guys, they will tell you when you use a cupel that it does not have long to live in this world. The same of a mold or anything else you're going to get to this kind of temperature over and over and over again. Eventually it just shatters. Um, this stuff is well known to crack slowly and kind of just break, but you can see that it absorbed material into the rock, that this layer we're seeing on the outside isn't just on the outside, it's inside. Also notice all this red stuff. That was red in the batch at one point. At the beginning it looked very red. Later on it looked very clear and was very glassy, and I could clearly see the gold in it. When it's melted right now, it looks like a mix because I have a whole bunch of stuff added to it. But it started to look very dark like this. There's actually a fair bit of gold in there. Right here along this lip in that red stuff. I will chip that off and use that. I will cut this down and use it again, you might think, but the useful part of this is done. This stuff with all the layers, that won't absorb much. It'll be good heat shield though, and it'll be good for strictly a crucible, but that will not make a very good cupel. See, the whole point of a cupel is it's supposed to absorb the crap. Well, the proof is right here. It did a great job of absorbing crap. It absorbed a ton of crap. Then it shattered. Because as it absorbs crap, don't forget, it's pushing those molecules farther apart. You can see some of the cracks are getting... They just formed on the inside, and there were a few little cracks. If you look here, you can see what I'm talking about. And I actually thought it was going to be this side that gave first, because it had this big fissure in it to start with that I hit with my Dremel by accident, and it never did crack all the way through. It added another crack along the side, but that didn't crack through. But eventually, this whole area gave in. And it wasn't a big deal. It didn't happen while it was cooking, and even if it had the side fell off, it would have stayed, all my metal would have been here. So it wouldn't have been a big deal, but it does happen, and you will eventually have to throw away a cupel. I still don't have gold. I have that. A whole bunch of slag with a whole bunch of my gold powder in it, and I still have that, which is gold powder mixed 50-50 with borax, so that I can just keep pouring it basically out, and I'll add some more borax on top, pour it out, and mix it like that, and that is actually working. And just to test it, I did it, and it created a small ingot, which is essentially a precious metal button. And at this point, you really need to do a lot of research on refining to know what I'm talking about. But we're about to get technical. So, the stone you choose, if it contains green or red or any other color other than base stone, it has oxides in it, and those oxides will get into your stuff, which is why at first it took on a red color. It wasn't from the stone, it was because there was iron in it. Iron oxide, all kinds of other things. A couple of them turn red. Copper also will look kind of reddish, and it can also be greenish. So we have copper here in powder form, and it's going to be that reddish beige color. And then you got green stuff here. And this is borax and other crap that's coming out. Also, you'll see that the heavy stuff drops to the bottom. And even with all that heavy stuff on the bottom, it wasn't ripping chunks out of the bottom. It never really stuck to the bottom. It turned out the pattern in the bottom was actually a really good thing. And next time, instead of my name, I'm just going to put lines across the bottom, like vents, for the gas to get underneath. I'm actually going to design it to be able to flow flame underneath it. This was a good design, and it allowed it to do that. But now that I know how useful that is, I will increase that design. So I can keep using this, and I will. I'm going to cut this down, but it won't really be much good as a cupel anymore. Because the same area that made such good insulation isn't very porous, and is in really dense layers, which will also be harder to cut through. So technically I can go down deeper in this if I cut this off right about here and make this the new top and then dig it out just like I did. I have one more use out of this. That is what I'm going to do because I don't have a lot of choice. But my roommates brought home some brick tonight, and we can try doing a proper making a kiln and seeing if we can actually cupel this down to a gold nugget. But That is a challenging process. This will be a long series, guys. Like and subscribe. This shattered object is not the end, and we will have a gold bar one day. I am determined. But this is a really long process, and this is an increasingly long video series as I do one process after another that leads me to have more gold than before in here. Lots more. In fact, I added an extra 1.5 grams to this from the previous weight. And I have been measuring it after each time through the forge. So basically what I do is I put it in the forge, my little cupel here. I heat it up, get it all completely molten, add some borax, let it rise up. I'm actually adding flux at that point, because once it's melted together, I don't add more borax, I add flux. And then once I've fluxed it out and get all the crap out of it that I can, I flip it over, I do it again. Then I crush it all. I put it all back together, I do it again. I've done it about maybe 6 times now. Anyway, that's it for this video, guys. I will show you what's up in the next video, and for now, my recommendation is if you're trying to make money with this and you're on the street, make flake. Keith out.